Good evening. Seems like I was a little quick to the punch on the mixer there. So, hope everybody is doing well. We certainly had an interesting day around these parts today. I really didn't know about it, to be honest, as far as how close this guy was until they already had him essentially surrounded in a town not real far from here. I'm speaking, of course, to how the headline is on the show. Wow, kind of interesting. Before we get into that, I did put out a video over on Dirt Cheap Preps today. I didn't post it over here that I put one over there, but I put one over there about dieting before the apocalypse, or dieting for the apocalypse. But it's not probably what most people are going to think. I'm not talking about health and fitness and all of that good stuff. Not even close. But absolutely, I've talked about it here on the show, what I mean. I'm not going to go into it because the video's over there. So just letting folks know that there's another video over there on Dirt Cheap Preps. Link to that channel is in the description of this video. So, wow, crazy times. So, I'm like an ogre, alright? Jen actually used to call me ogre. And, I'm like an ogre. I have layers. And so, if you've been around these parts very long, you know that I'm not a fan of government. That includes all those that work for the above. And, most certainly includes much of the blue line. However, I don't hold anybody's job position or profession or anything like that inherently against them, because people are people, and that's one thing that I really try to get across, is that people are people, and there's good people and bad people in every single bunch. And so I just want folks to know that regardless of somebody's occupation, they should not succumb to harm just for doing their job. As long as they're what's the word, being moral and ethical, okay? It would appear this officer this morning, was just doing his job. And apparently, officer stopped for a stalled vehicle and stopped to assist the motorist. And at that point, I'm assuming it was the suspect that was stopped alongside the road. I don't know that for sure. I'm assuming that. But the officer was shot and killed. The officer's car was taken, later abandoned, I guess, down the interstate a little ways. I'm going to read the article here in a second. I don't want to get details messed up. But nonetheless, during his several 100-mile trek back and forth between Illinois and Missouri, he had ran either through or right nearby Highland, where we live. I actually thought I might have gotten a bit of him on camera, because there was somebody that had a gray hoodie on that walked past our place. But I did go back, I did review the video, and it wasn't. It wasn't. So I had the gray hoodie, but I believe this guy was too tall, too thin, and he didn't have black pants on. He had blue jeans on. So the one that walked past here. So it wasn't him. So I keep a close eye on that stuff. But earlier there was a notice that went out from the Highland Piron Fire Department. I don't know what all local pages or groups put out the warning, but it was a warning for residents to lock their doors and, be on the lookout for an armed and dangerous individual. And I was unaware of this until they already had the guy surrounded at a house in or nearby Carlisle, Illinois. And wow, it's just crazy. But we've always got our doors locked. If we are not opening the door to let somebody in or to go out ourselves, our doors are locked. So they stay locked all the time. No, it's not because I'm paranoid. It's because I'm not stupid. Years ago, I knew a couple of guys that, from my understanding, from hearing conversations of them speak, it wasn't much for them to walk past a house if they were looking for money. If they would happen to see like a lady's purse sitting on a table or something like that. From my understanding, it'd been known for them to just kind of sneak in, grab it, and run out. That was here, So if I'm aware, or at least that's what they said they did, of stuff like that going on, I ain't stupid. And so I'll just lock my doors. But it's crazy. It's really crazy. And I did, they've identified the guy. Again, I'll read the story here in just a moment. So I did some digging and looking around. And so I found several Facebook accounts, including this guy's Facebook account. I don't know if it's a girlfriend or another sister, because I did find a sister's Facebook account to the guy. That was an interesting read. So I found 3 different profiles that were linked to this guy. Actually, no, 4. 4 different profiles that were linked to this guy. And he really seems to be a piece of work, let me tell you. I'm just going to go ahead and go on over the article because, there's more to say, but I don't want to... I hate getting stuff wrong, and I'd rather just pull the article up and go from there. So... as the headline says, police ID suspect arrested in multi-state crime spree that left deputy dead. Now, here they say a Kentucky man, but I'm kind of suspicious whether or not he lived in a town called Lawrenceville, or is it Lawrence? Lawrence, Illinois, Lawrenceville, Illinois? Hang on, I can scroll, Lawrenceville. I dated a girl in Lawrenceville for a really, really short time. So I know where the location is. I know where the town is. Wow. Let me go ahead and read. It says a Kentucky man is in custody after a crime spree that spanned multiple states and took the life of an Illinois deputy. Around 5 a.m. Wednesday, Wayne County, Illinois Sheriff Deputy Sean Riley was responding to a motorist assist call on Interstate 64 near the Indiana border when he was shot. As another officer pulled up to the scene, Riley was found dead and his squad car was missing. The squad car was later found abandoned on I-64 nearby, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office said. Officials with the Illinois State Police said the suspect, Ray Tate of Kentucky, then carjacked a semi-trailer near where the deputy's car was left. Police said the driver of the trailer was held against his will and was forced to drive Tate to a gas station in St. Peters, Missouri. St. Peters police confirmed a shooting and carjacking happened at the Quick Trip on Main Street around 7 a.m. Tate drove away from the gas station after shooting another man while stealing his car. The shooting victim was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Due to this being an active investigation, there's a limited amount of information we were able to release, or we're going to release right now, but I will say that the evidence at Quick Trip, there was evidence at Quick Trip that is directly related to the crimes that happened in Illinois, explained St. Peter's officer Melissa Doss. The stolen vehicle was later found in O'Fallon, Missouri off Highway 70, according to police. The suspect was believed to be near Highland, Illinois at one point. That's where we are. Illinois State Police said Tate then went back into Illinois with a kidnapped victim in another stolen car. That car was found near a home in rural Carlisle, Illinois on Beaver Road about 1 p.m. Police said Tate then committed a home invasion and took the kidnapped victim and the homeowner hostages inside a Carlisle home. ISP and SWAT officers were able to get inside the house just after 1:40 p.m. and arrested Tate without further incidents. The homeowner and the other victim were not injured. Indiana State Police and Illinois State Police confirmed Tate is the suspect wanted in the crime spree. Tate, 40, was also wanted for a shooting investigation in Indiana that took place on December 16th. In that incident, Tate allegedly fired a shot during an attempted carjacking. No one was injured in that incident. I will say that they also arrested a 38-year-old from Lawrenceville by the name of Lacey Angle. And, wow. I'm assuming no relation, Steve. Anyway, this is nuts. I went, and like I say, one of the sisters' profiles, or the sister, I don't know if the other one was a sister or what, shared the same last name. But they were talking about this incident that happened in Indiana. And there was only one person in all the comments that were like, yeah, that guy's a real piece of S, you know. Everybody else was like, oh, he wouldn't do that, blah, 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 he didn't do it, and, you know. Yeah. So, this is nuts. And it just goes to show, folks, you really do need to be prepared at any time. You need to be prepared at any time. Hey, what if that was him that walked by? You know? The person that, when they walked by, Blue was barking at him, and so I went to go get Blue in, because we don't let her just stand out there and bark. So I went to go get Blue in, and let's just say that was him. What's to say he wouldn't have came up to the house and tried forcing his way in when I was letting her in? You know? So you always have to be on your toes. Always. Blue. You just never know. Probably wouldn't have been real smart for him to do that, but, you know, he wouldn't have known that. You know, nobody deserves what happened to that officer. I mean, it just sounds to me like the officer was doing his job, saw a car sitting alongside the road, I'm assuming, and, I don't know. You know, I don't know. This could go deeper. There could be more to this. There could absolutely be more to this. He could have, he could have put a call in for the assist. I don't know. I don't know the details of it. I'm sure more will come out. But again, I can't reiterate it enough. You have to be ready. You have to be ready at all times, because anything like this could happen to any one of us at any time. So, you know, you could be somebody that's carjacked, you could be an innocent homeowner in their home and have some madman like this just break in your door. So that's why it's important. That's why it's incredibly important to be ready at all times. You know, like I say, it wouldn't have been a good idea for him to pick this house. But I can't fathom somebody that would do that. I just can't. You know, somebody has to be so disconnected from humanity itself to just mindlessly take a life like that. For what? Transportation? I mean, that's what it seems like to me. Transportation. I mean, look at all the other individuals that he had shot or shot at just to get their vehicle. This guy's a piece of work. And it actually absolutely blew my mind at how his sister and how others were rushing to defend this guy from the incident that happened over in Indiana. Hang on. Blue is starting in again. The moment I started doing the show, she had started in. But anyway, just keep yourselves ready. Anything can happen at any time. Keep your heads on a swivel. You know, we are living in some crazy times as it is. And there is a lot more chance of some craziness just happening out of the blue like this today than what there was, say, 2 years ago before all this other crap went on. You know, this whole situation that went on, you know, from COVID itself and from everything related to it has really put a lot of stress on many individuals in many ways, right? Not just being locked. Well, I say lockdown, you know what I mean. But, you know, loss of jobs and, you know, this, that, and the other thing. You get a lot more desperate people. And, you know, desperate people do desperate things. So, I don't get it, though. I don't get how one could be that desperate just for transportation that they would even threaten somebody else's life, no less take it. Just, it really gets me. But, yeah, that happened right around here today. So that was crazy. But again, I'll say without a doubt that was not the person that walked past here. I pulled it up on the camera and reviewed it and looked at it and stuff, and it didn't take but a second after I saw it on the camera again on the recording, didn't take but a second to realize. In fact, I think I knew who it was that walked by, and I told Jen, I think that's so-and-so when they walked by. And after reviewing the video, I still think it was the person I thought it was, so not this guy. So, wow, just crazy. So, thoughts and prayers certainly to Officer Riley's family and friends. That's nuts. And like I said, I don't have to be a fan of the profession, but I am a fan of humanity, and I don't believe that anybody, no matter what, should be punished for nothing, you know. And this officer was just doing his job, just trying to help. Man, that's unbelievable. Everybody has to do better, folks. Everybody, you know. I just, like I said, I can't wrap my head around it. I've been trying to ever since I was aware of it. I just can't see. I absolutely don't understand the trade-off there, you know? Even threatening somebody's life for a ride. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I don't know what the deal was with the other woman that was arrested. I did look up her profile. I believe I found her profile, but I couldn't really see a whole lot there. And didn't in fact, she didn't even have this cat on her friends list. So I don't know, but I'm 99.9% positive that I had the right woman's profile. So, I mean, how many people with that particular name are gonna live in a small town? So, anyway, I do have a few news stories to talk to you about. and figured I would cover that. Kind of all over the place tonight, which I like that because I hate everything being about COVID or everything being about Russia. So I like to be able to jump around a little bit, although, wow, crazy news today. I will say once again today, even though it's crazy news as it has been, again, it hasn't been an onslaught, if you will, of news. So that's still kind of toned down a little bit, which is a good thing. We are still in the holiday season, so maybe that alone is the reason why things are a little tamed down. But like I say, things aren't calm, but definitely the frequency is not there. So that's good. That's good. So let me go ahead and come over the web view. Oops. Scratch my ear and rub the microphone with my hat, because that's necessary. No, the coffee, now that's necessary. Got some coffee filters on the way. I sure the hell hope they make it here before my coffee runs out. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I'm probably going to do a parody video here. Real short, like, probably, I would say probably within the next few days. And it's just purely for fun. That's all. It's just purely for fun. And yes, it involves coffee. But, yeah, it's going to be funny. I hope it's funny. It sounds funny to me. Anyway, keep an eye out for that. And again, there's no harm meant. It's just meant to be fun. Let's see. CIA-backed secret experiments conducted on hundreds of Danish orphans, says a documentary. And for the life of me, I can't put my finger on why it is that we wouldn't trust the U.S. government. I just can't put my finger on it. It says here, the Central Intelligence Agency allegedly backed secret experiments in schizophrenia on 311 Danish children, many adopted from orphanages during the early 1960s, according to a newly released documentary. Danish radio's documentary, The Search for Myself, accuses the U.S. spy agency of supporting the experiments at the municipal hospital in Copenhagen. The studies were reportedly investigating the link between schizophrenia and heredity or the environment. Per Wennick, who claims to have been a participant in the experiments as a child, alleged that he was placed in a chair with electrodes strapped to him and forced to listen to loud, shrill noises. The aim of the test was supposedly to find out if a child had psychopathic traits. It was very uncomfortable, and it's just not my story. It's the story of many children, Wennick said, describing his experience. The project was co-financed by a U.S. health service, surprise, surprise, receiving support from the Human Ecology Fund, which is operated on behalf of the CIA, according to Wennick and the National Archives. While the children were not told what the experiments were for, during or after the research, a dissertation was published in 1977 by Danish psychiatrist Fend, I think that would be Fend, Schulsinger. I don't know if that's right or not. Detailing the study. The Danish Welfare Museum's Jacob Nag Rasmussen, I know, I can't say these names, sorry, said that this is the first documented time where children under care were used for research purposes in the country. I do not know of similar attempts neither in Denmark nor in Scandinavia. It is appalling information that contradicts the Nuremberg Code of 1947, which after World War II was to set some ethical restrictions for experiments on humans, Rasmussen stated. Imagine that. Insane. And it doesn't end, does it? It just doesn't end. Alright. I'm not really going to get into this, but because I talked about this last night, but I figured I would at least brush over it here. Girl's death by stray police bullet raises questions. This is the incident at the store in Los Angeles, and so apparently the parents of a teenager who died while trying on outfits in a fitting room, inadvertently pierced by a police bullet, have called for full disclosure. Their attorney is calling for the LAPD to release all footage of the incident. So, again, not going to read it all or anything, but yeah, it doesn't look like this is over. And my opinion, it shouldn't be, because, sorry, I'm not going to get all back into that spiel again, but if if you can't absolutely positively identify what's behind your target, and you are aiming at something that is not going to stop that round, you don't take the shot unless it's like there's no choice. Now, if this guy had a gun and was actively had it trained on somebody, yeah, take that shot. But that wasn't the case here. Not even remotely. Right? The guy had a bike lock. Period. The guy, again, I'm not going to go back into it again, but again, you take each individual case, each individual person, no matter what it's about, and you look at it individually. Jury reaches decision in Gazlane Maxwell sex trafficking trial. And so apparently she was found guilty on all but one of the charges. And I honestly don't know which was which. I have no idea. I didn't follow it that closely. And the reason why I didn't follow it that closely is because, I want to see her go to prison over this. Absolutely. But in the end, does it matter? Does it matter? Because who else is going to go to jail over this? And sadly, the ones that need to go to jail most over this aren't even going to get mentioned. From my understanding, the records are going to be sealed and everything. So it's done. Yeah, she'll go to prison. But what about all of the individuals that were participating in all of this? They just walked. And any names that were named, any information that came out of this hearing is all going to be sealed. Why? That's what blows my mind. Why? And again, there's a reason why I distrust government. Gee, I wonder why. Who is it that's allowing for this to happen? From all angles. It's sad. It's sad. Yeah, this is important, and I wanted to make sure to report on this. Time is running out to return stolen goods to avoid paying taxes on them. Okay, so let me read the article because I want you to understand, what you need to do the right thing here. There's only a limited amount of time left in 2021 to return any stolen property to avoid paying taxes on it, because I know every single one of you that stole a bunch of stuff had made sure to write down the value of it and all of that to be able to keep your record book straight, because that's what all criminals do, right? Any responsible criminal keeps track of their loot, right? Anyway, it says, according to the IRS, stolen property falls into the category of other income obtained throughout the year and must be documented. This is ridiculous. If you steal property, you must report its fair market value in your income in the year you steal it, unless you return it to its rightful owner in the same year. The IRS guidelines from 2021, publication 17, reads, likewise, the IRS said any income obtained from illegal activities like dealing drugs must also be claimed. This income is added on Schedule 1, Form 1040 on line 8Z, or on Schedule C, Form 1040, if it's from your self-employment activity, according to the IRS. So I'm just wondering if the folks that are out there cooking meth and stuff like that or whatever, can they write off the chemicals and stuff? Do they get you know, what I can't even think the word now, deductions, tax deductions for materials for I mean, how's that work? I mean, this is our government, folks. This is our government. There's a reason why I don't trust them. Because A, they're dishonest and immoral, and B, they're just plain out batshit crazy. I mean, really? It's on there too. I've seen the meme going around for like the last couple of days. There's a picture going around. Yeah. So now, as if all this other nonsense wasn't enough with COVID, the report of a rare superbug that poses a global threat is found. Well, because things are certainly look like they're going to go in a different direction as far as COVID's concerned. So we got to have the next thing to fearmonger about. It says here, Oregon health officials have announced 3 cases of Candida auris, a rare fungal infection that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have described as posing a serious concern for the world. Officials confirmed the 3 cases in Oregon on Tuesday, the first in the state. The original case was discovered on December 11th, while the next 2 were found in the following weeks. The outbreak occurred at Salem Health in Salem, Oregon. The first case was detected in a patient with recent international health care exposures, according to officials. Candida auris was first identified in 2009, but did not appear in the U.S. until 2013. The CDC has since found over 1,100 positive clinical cases of the infection, which includes both confirmed and probable cases, according to their website. Texas, New York, Illinois, California, and Florida have all reported the most cases, ranging from 135 to 285. According to the CDC, Candida auris presents a serious global threat and mostly spreads locally through healthcare facilities. It is described as highly transmittable and can cause severe invasive infections in 5 to 10% of those affected. Symptoms can include fever and chills, and the fungus can spread through contaminated areas or via close contact with someone who has it. Gazlane Chaudhary, medical director of infectious prevention at Salem Health, said in the latest announcement that the COVID-19 pandemic has led to a rise in multi-drug resistant organisms like Candida auris. Oregon health officials warn that the infection particularly causes serious infections in those who already have serious medical problems. So again, in my opinion, it sounds like they're just trying to keep people's fear going. It is what it is, right? Okay, let me have a sip of coffee. Oh, man. Okay. Israel's $3. Yeah, we're going to spend $3. Israel's $3 billion plan to strike Iran revealed. The $3. The Israel Defense Forces has rolled out strike scenarios against Iran, but couldn't determine the likely outcomes. Let's see. I'm trying not to repeat the same thing over again. Sorry. Israel. I can't speak tonight. I don't know what the deal is. The Israel Defense Forces was allocated some 9 billion shekels, or $2.9 billion, to prepare for a possible attack on Iran. Haaretz reported on Wednesday. I wished I could get like $2.9 billion to prepare for a possible attack. Hell, that'd be nice. To this end, the IDF has reportedly acquired advanced weapons, run Air Force training exercises, and selected new strike targets in recent months. According to the report, military officials have told the government the IDF was ready to strike as soon as it had approval, but it presented a number of potential consequences, including fighting breaking out with Hezbollah in Lebanon or with Hamas in Gaza. Well, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Additionally, the IDF noted that Iran had expanded its air defense array in recent years, which could complicate incoming airstrikes. They claim that Tehran has also significantly increased its long-range missile arsenal to the point where it can allegedly hit any point in Israel with ease. The officials also apparently reiterated previous military intelligence assessments that Iran could develop a nuclear bomb within 2 years if it had the intention to do so. In recent weeks, Israel has warned that it would not allow Tehran to become a nuclear state, even as negotiations in Vienna to revive the stalled 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action deal continue. What? Oh. Meanwhile, the IDF is apparently working to strengthen defense ties with Egypt, Jordan, Cyprus, Greece, and some Gulf states through intelligence gathering and joint counterterrorism operations. The officials reportedly said this would grant greater legitimacy to potential strikes against Iran. Other reported considerations included Hezbollah's activity to increase its arsenal of precision missiles despite an Israeli clampdown on the shipment of munitions. Similarly, the IDF cautioned that it had failed to cripple Hamas' long-range rocket array during the fighting in May. The Palestinian militant group is apparently also replenishing its numbers and rebuilding production facilities. Earlier this month, Israel's defense minister Benny Gantz said that he had informed U.S. officials about having instructed the IDF to prepare for a strike against Iran. However, senior Iranian military officials countered that Israel could not follow through on the threats without the green light and support of the U.S. Now, here's the interesting thing. They had just said, what? I think 2 weeks ago. What? What? Jen? Oh. I couldn't tell what she said. Anyway, like 2 weeks ago, I think it was, that they had said something to the effect that they didn't have to wait for the U.S. or anything else. That they could just do it anytime they wanted on their own. And then this said, this said earlier this month. Oh, wait. Sorry, I missed without. That is what that's saying. I'm sorry, I had that backwards. When I was reading it, I was thinking they were saying that that's what they were waiting for. Right now, I think that this is the most likely thing to happen in the short term. I really do. I think that this is the most likely thing to happen. I also see different things happening, tensions building up with somewhat with China, but of course mainly with Russia, but not like this. This has been, to be honest, a long time coming. It really has. So it seems like everybody's kind of putting everything in the place they need to put it in order to make this happen. So we'll see. I thought it was kind of strange how they, looked into it, and they say that they're worried about fighting breaking out with Hezbollah in Lebanon and with Hamas in Gaza. Well, that should be a given. That should be a given because just the nature of the situation. We'll see. Like I say, out of everything, I think that this probably has the highest possibility of growing legs and running. And then what I was mentioning about with China, and I don't know the whole deal with this. We'll read the article again. I had other things I was keeping an eye on, checking on today. I was making sure this was the only one for China. I believe so. Yep. U.S. diverts LNG supplies away from China. It says tankers loaded with U.S. liquefied natural gas that was reportedly destined for China have been diverted to head towards Britain instead, as Europe's energy crisis worsens by the day. The cargo is making its way through the UK's inshore waterways in a move that is critical to tempering even more extreme prices and demand destruction in Europe. I don't know why. For some reason, I can't see my screen very well today. James Huckstep, managing analyst at S&P Global Platts, said, as quoted by The Telegraph, "We're seeing cargoes previously destined for Asia now diverting to the UK. This is particularly the case for those cargoes originating in the U.S., given the journey between the U.S. and Europe is much shorter than that to Asia," the strategist said. I was looking at my glasses. According to figures reported by Bloomberg, 20 cargo ships with American gas are headed for Europe, with another 14 heading in the general direction of Europe while awaiting final orders. Last weekend, the number of U.S. vessels heading for European ports reportedly increased by a third. Britain commonly receives most of its gas via pipelines running through the North Sea to Norway and continental Europe, but it also gets around 20% by ship on the global market. While the mounting supply crunch and record high prices in Europe have attracted cargo ships away from other parts, the new arrivals are lowering prices. The TTF Dutch futures contract for delivery in January dropped 1.5% on Tuesday to $1,200 per 1,000 cubic meters, or 105 euros per kilowatt hour, marking the fifth consecutive session of declines. Meanwhile, the spot price for gas reached over $2,000 per 1,000 cubic meters last week. One of the worst energy crises in recent European history is attributed to a wide range of factors, including low levels of gas storage across the continent and increased energy consumption due to the winter season. The situation is exacerbated by the reluctance by EU countries to buy more gas from Russia amid the growing political rift over Ukraine. And, the crazy thing is it hadn't even gotten cold yet. And they're already having all of these problems. I don't know. A lot of that stuff I don't understand. Now, I definitely don't know, the whole ins and outs of energy production in the UK or Europe. Have no idea. I would ask, how come they can't produce their own? What blows my mind is these countries will act like there's shortages on stuff, but then turn around and export the hell out of it. Now, I'm not saying Europe or the UK or anything's exporting natural gas. I'm not saying that. But look at the countries that claim, that they have low food supplies of this kind or another, and turn around and they export a whole crap ton of it. Right? At the same time, they say, oh, well, we're having shortages. And the truth of the matter is, it's all about profit. It's all about profit. And I honestly think at this point, if people could make more money by exporting food to another country, they'd let the people from their own country starve. I really do think that it's reached that point. Now, I'm not talking about the farmers. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about, the businessmen and women that the deal in this stuff on a large scale. I can't speak tonight. I don't know what the deal is. Can't speak, can't read. Oh, it's like my screen's blurry, and I don't have anything on my glasses, and I can't see it any better with them off. I don't know what the deal is. So we got that, and then kind of moving on towards the Russia front here. U.S. reveals change of plan for aircraft carrier group amid Ukraine crisis, says reports. The article says the Pentagon has ordered the aircraft carrier USS. I'm telling you, I am having that hard of a problem reading. Harry S. Truman and other warships to remain in the Mediterranean region rather than sail as previously planned towards the Middle East, Western news agencies claimed on Tuesday. The report cited an unnamed defense official who said the move was due to tensions with Russia over NATO expansion and Ukraine. The carrier strike group was apparently ordered to remain in the, I never heard of that before, the Ionian Sea, I guess, by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, according to AP, Reuters, and others. It was originally expected to leave the area between Greece and Italy this week to transit through the Suez Canal and to continue towards the Persian Gulf region. Three ships. The ships concerned includes the flagship Truman herself, the guided missile cruiser USS San Jacinto, and the guided missile destroyers USS Cole, USS Bainbridge, USS Gravely, and the USS Jason Dunham. The American ships were deployed from Norfolk, Virginia on December 1st and reached the Mediterranean on December 14th. The HNOMS, Nansen, a Royal Norwegian Navy frigate, joined the group for the deployment. The change of mission plans was touted as a measure aimed at reassuring European NATO members and partners amid ongoing tensions with Russia. Since early November, Western media and governments have been accusing Moscow of conducting a buildup of troops in western parts of Russia, claiming that maneuvers could indicate an imminent invasion of Ukraine. Russia has denied the allegations and said its troop movements were defensive in nature, yada, yada, yada. You know all that good stuff, so you've been listening to it for the past God knows how long now. I don't know what's all up on this particular situation, but it certainly, it does certainly seem that it's escalating, as well. And there's reason for that. We'll get to that here in just a couple of articles. This one here says only winners can make demands. The EU warns Russia. Again, just mentioning this because of the heightened tensions. Russia's insistence that NATO be stopped from enlarging eastwards towards its borders is completely unacceptable, the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs said on Tuesday. In an interview with the German newspaper Welt, Joseph Borrell spoke about the two draft documents publicly released earlier this month by Moscow, which included a list of promises it wants to obtain from the U.S. and NATO. The proposed treaties include pledges that the bloc won't expand eastwards, as well as the removal of NATO troops and missiles away from the Russian border. So, and there's a lot of this back and forth that's going on. Let's see. I don't think there was anything else. Like I said, that you hadn't heard. A lot of these articles, they'll start out with the new information, but then, down on into the article, it just keeps repeating the same stuff you've heard me repeat for the last, I don't know how many months. Let's see. Date of new Biden talks revealed. So this is kind of what tells me that this situation is pretty tense, because they really got this thing scheduled quick. I mean, it was almost like as quick as they could. It says U.S. President Joe Biden will hold talks by phone on Thursday with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, discussing upcoming diplomatic engagements with Moscow, the White House has announced. The exchange was announced in a brief statement by the spokesperson for the National Security Council, Emily Horn, on Wednesday. The two presidents will discuss a range of topics, including upcoming diplomatic engagements with Russia, Holmes said. Is that Home or Horn? Yeah, see, it's Horn. I honestly, I can't read that. It looks like Home from here. Moscow confirmed the information shortly after the White House's announcement. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told RIA Novosti that it will take place late on Thursday, Moscow time. The Russian capital is 8 hours ahead of Washington. So, that's coming up quick. And I can only think that they made sure to get that scheduled and get that going because, like I say, of the tensions. And this is not any better when it comes to those said tensions. Russia's new S-550 air defense system rolled out, says TASS. TASS. I'll call it TASS. Okay. I was aware of the S-500. This is the very, very first time that I can recall hearing about the S-550. I find that pretty interesting. Sorry, I had to have a sip of coffee. I find that highly interesting. Anyway, let me read a little bit about this. It says Russia's new S-550 air defense system, said to be capable of hitting high-altitude spacecraft and missiles, including hypersonic types, has passed trials and is already in service, TASS has reported. Moscow news agency quoted a source which said it's close to the defense ministry, who described the S-550 as an absolutely new mobile strategic missile defense system which is unparalleled anywhere in the world and capable of striking spacecraft, warheads of intercontinental ballistic missiles, and hypersonic targets. The S-550 air defense system has successfully completed state trials. Its first brigade has already been placed on combat duty. They continued. Let's see. I don't know why that says delete there. It says the arrival of this new hardware ensures that Russia possesses a multi-layered air and missile defense architecture, according to TASS source. The country now boasts Pantsir anti-aircraft and cannon systems that cover low altitudes, the long-range air defense systems S-350, S-400, S-500, as well as the S-550, preventing threats from space. There has so far been no official confirmation of the report. It says here, the S-550 was developed in secrecy, with the public only becoming aware of its existence in early November. At that time, Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu described the state-of-the-art air defense system as being among the Russian military's weapons of great importance during a panel chaired by President Vladimir Putin. Sergei Kimizov, the head of the Rostec military-industrial conglomerate, later said that the S-550 will have a larger target detection area and a longer missile range compared to its predecessors. So, again, that's the first time that I have heard anything about this. And, apparently they didn't even say anything about it until November, and I didn't catch that. But, not that I recall. But nonetheless, this is insane. This is insane. So not only do they have their offensive weapons, their hypersonic missiles, far beyond our capabilities, but they also have their defenses that are far beyond our capability. We don't have anything yet. We don't have anything as far as offensively for hypersonic weapons, and we don't have no way to stop hypersonic weapons. So we're not in a good spot. We're just not in a good spot. And I think that's why there's been a lot of walking back, to be honest. Is because we're not in a good spot. People, the Pentagon and stuff like that knows we're not in a good spot. And I think that's kind of why they're not as bold, I'll say. Judge rules on military. Okay. We are on the COVID stuff. So done with the military stuff. Just got a few articles on this. We'll get the headlines and we'll be done. Judge rules on U.S. military Vacs mandate lawsuit. It says a U.S. federal judge has ruled against the Oklahoma government and a group of soldiers in a lawsuit challenging the military's vaccination requirements, denying a requested pause on the policy for National Guard troops in the state. U.S. District Judge Stephen Friat said that he would not grant a temporary injunction against the mandate in a decision on Tuesday, arguing that the state's case was without merit. I'll just read his quote here. It says, a vaccine mandate to which the governor objects is intended to protect service members from the virus, which has, in less than 2 years, killed more Americans than have been killed in action in all of the wars the United States has ever fought, the judge said. So, that one didn't win. So, it may not be the last. It's hard to say. And I'm not going to read really into this. I'm sure you've probably seen video clips of this or heard about this, but COVID rule breakers were publicly shamed in China. They walked them around. They walked them around with big pictures hanging from them and stuff like that. It's crazy. Let's see. This I thought was interesting. A COVID vaccine developer gets lobbyist with Biden connection. Says here, Jeff Ricchetti, I guess that would be Ricchetti, brother of White House Counselor Steve Ricchetti, has registered to lobby for a company behind a COVID-19 vaccine that is approved only in Taiwan, a new report has revealed. The connection between Ricchetti and the Taiwan-based Medigen Vaccine Biologics Corporation was laid bare in a disclosure report first revealed by CNBC on Wednesday. Ricchetti filed to lobby for the company earlier this month. His job will be focused on issues related to COVID-19 vaccines accepted for foreign travelers to the United States. Ricchetti has lobbied the White House on behalf of other companies based on the healthcare industry before. Earlier this year, he also filed to work with Amazon on issues related to the delivery of COVID-19 vaccine shipments. Responding to allegations of a possible conflict of interest, Ricchetti dismissed the claim, saying he had not mentioned his brother in talks with the partners or U.S. officials, nor had he lobbied his close relative directly. So, I suppose we should probably just take his word for it, right? It's crazy, I'm telling you. It's crazy. Let me have a sip of coffee, a couple of vapes, we'll do some headlines, and get out of here. I got pretty much nowhere on the website today, by the way. I did open it. I'm in the great debate. I've got two ways I can go with it right now. I can go with Joomla 4, which I know nothing about and don't really have anything for. Well, I say I know nothing about, but I've been using Joomla 3 for years, and it's just a new version, but everything's all moved around, and there's some very different things and stuff like that with it, so either I fight with learning it now, which I could do, but I could also just use Joomla 3 with the I'll get it, the templates and all the other goodies that I've already got. So I don't know. I'll probably wind up using the new one just because I need to learn it. I can't get around needing to learn it, so might as well use the opportunity now and screw up my own stuff. Now, there isn't going to be a whole lot. I'm not going to put tons and tons and tons of stuff there. Mostly it's going to be a forum for you guys, and a place to be able to put content about how to prep for cheap. So that's mainly what it's going to be.
I don't know where else to go with it, really.
Let's see. All right. Everything from today. China demands U.S. rein in SpaceX after satellite incident. Russia explains why it publicly revealed U.S. NATO proposals. Russians reveal their financial fears, says a survey. Seoul now knows why its pioneering rocket failed. Hospitalization soars. Omicron takes hold in London. Figurines deriding Biden deemed off limits on U.S. military base. So, I hope nobody there's got anything anti-Biden, or anything pro-Brandon, because, hey. Bat thought to be extinct found hiding. Now, this is crazy, because this isn't the only creature that they thought was extinct that I'm going to be report on today that they found out it's not true. They're not extinct. Australia moles putting cats on lockdown. U.S. Covered that one. Black hole eruption as big as 16 moons captured in most comprehensive image. Covered that. NGO memorial closed by Russian court over foreign agent breaches. Covered that. England's care system found to be unfit for purpose. Musk great stock dump is complete. 12,000 Afghan refugees stuck in UK hotels, says reports. Lawmakers throw haymakers in Parliament. You know, we never have that here in the U.S. We kind of lame here in our Senate and stuff. I mean, there's never any fighting. That would be, I don't know, interesting. Let's see. Ukraine Zelensky continues crackdown on critical media. Russia explains what it wants from EU in order to increase gas supplies. Covered that. France is breaking European COVID records. Israel shells Hamas outpost in Gaza. Gruesome details about sacked police officer revealed. China to use renewable resources for data centers expansion. This is the other one. Fish declared unextinct after a surprise comeback. Apple may splash cash to contain brain drain. Okay. German COVID data probably inadequate, says the minister. I think it's pronounced Citrion, even though it doesn't look that way. Slammed for predatory ad. Proud plague-spreading anti-vaxxer dies. That happened, I can't remember where now. I don't remember where. Plan to decolonize plants may violate UK law, says a report. Tumblr hits users with new censorship rules. Russia could bring back the death penalty, says court chair. Gazprom comments on readiness of Nord Stream 2 for EU gas supplies. Russia predicts revival of ISIS and Caliphate 2.0. North Korea's Kim reveals reason for abrupt weight loss. I think he's going to go on Tinder or something, so he wants to look his best. Russia's NATO... don't nuke me, bro. Let's see. Russia's NATO demands unacceptable, says EU. I think I might have covered that one. The mysterious floating tank is reclaimed from the sea. And yeah, it's not really a tank. We talked about this the other day. It's all hollow. So it was pretty much, I believe, built for that purpose. From my understanding, after they got a closer look at it, it looked like it was it was designed after a combination of two tanks. One of them being ours, and then I think another one being parts off of a Chinese tank. So, whatever. Covered that, and that. Country turns to nuclear over crypto mining causes electricity shortage. As crypto mining cause. I'm sorry I'm butchering everything tonight, folks. Madden NFL video game is racist, claims uber woke professor. I mean, literally, anything right now. I've got a toothpick here, a screwdriver. All of it racist. This chip clip, racist, right? Post-it notes, yeah, those are totally racist. When does it stop? NYPD officers ordered back to work for New Year's. Covered that. But I'll say it again, folks. Time's running out to return your stolen goods, or else you're going to have to pay taxes on them. And drug dealers, I hope you got every single bag accounted for, because you really need to get that 1040 filled out and make sure you don't miss anything on here. So, time's ticking. Get those taxes in. Elon, it's so ridiculous. Let's see. Elon Musk denies hogging space. Covered that. Told you there's not a lot of headlines tonight. COVID vaccine developer gets lobbyist. Oh, I covered that. And covered that. Study reveals dangerous long-term effect of COVID-19. And I do have a number 2 up here in the old RT thing. Liberal pundit tells GOP senator to get a vasectomy after Christmas family photo. That is a hell of a lot of people there. Let's see. I could make a lot of comments on that, but I'm not gonna. Not gonna. And the other one was former CNN producer under investigation after pedophilia allegations, says reports. So this is Jake Tapper. Was that the same one as before? Or not? Or is this a new one? Not sure. Not sure. Hard to keep up. It is, it's mind-blowing what's all going on. It's the crimes that are going on. I don't know. Like I said at the beginning of the show, just make sure you stay ready. Make sure you keep an eye on things. You make sure you lock your doors. Seriously. Because you never know. You never know. I guarantee that person in that home today had no idea that somebody was just going to, come in their home and take them hostage. I'm sure of it. As I've said about prepping and securing your home for SHTF or what have you, it's not even so much about completely preventing them from getting in, because that's kind of hard to do. I mean, let's be realistic. Sure, you can deadbolt your door to death, but if somebody really wants in, they're going to break a window and go through the window, The idea isn't necessarily that they're not going to be able to get in. The idea is to slow them down so that you can respond. So that simple turning that lock gives you the time that you need to respond. So, in most cases, not every case, but in most cases, if your door's unlocked and you're not in the same room with the door and somebody just quietly opens up the door and walks in, you have no idea they're there. You have no idea they're there. If your door's locked and you're in the other room and you hear your door bust in it's probably a pretty good idea to get whatever you need to get to deal with the situation. That's why I recommend locking doors. It's not to stop people from getting in. It's to slow them down in the process of getting in. So anyway, other than that, heads on a swivel. And I would even recommend the same for when you're driving right now. Lock those doors. Because you just don't know. You never know. I mean, nothing happened here other than the guy had went either nearby or through town here. But, you know, this is a small, quiet, sleepy town. You know? So, Carlisle, yeah, it's small. Not so quiet, not so sleepy. It's kind of a, I don't know. I don't like it. It's a methtacular town, okay? Yeah, it's not really a great place. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like a city that's, you know, ghettos and all of that, but it's pretty drug-riddled and, you know, and I'm not talking about weed. I'm talking about meth. I'm talking about all that stuff, so, but nonetheless, it's not that bad of a place. And like I say, the person that was in this home, I'm sure certainly didn't expect somebody was just going to walk in their home and take them hostage. That's, you know, that's not the norm there either. So, I don't know. You just have to keep, that was my arm, believe it or not. You just have to, it was, I moved my arm. I don't know if that came out on the mic, but it was kind of funny here. Anyway, it's crazy. Just make sure you're always ready. Keep your heads on a swivel. And, keep an eye out for this stuff. Because I think we're going to see a hell of a lot more of it in a lot less, you know, obvious places, if you will. So, a lot of desperate people. And that makes for bad times. So, I am going to get out of here. I am tired. I'm sore. And, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why I couldn't read. I can't speak. I don't know. I think I'm just tired. So, I am going to get out of here. I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again yet another day. And, I'll have a couple of days off. Trying to think. Still waiting on parts for the heater as far as getting the exhaust piped out. Waiting on to getting the parts in. They should be in tomorrow. I think I came up for a solution to this particular problem. I found a pipe on Amazon that has the inside diameter of this is the outside diameter of the pipe, and the inside diameter of the pipe is the outside diameter of the exhaust silencer, muffler, whatever you want to call it. They call it a silencer. So, as you see, that, I know you can hear it, you can probably see it a little bit. That doesn't fit too well. There's kind of a gap there. So, I need a roughly a 4mm thick pipe to put in between the two, and then take a clamp, like an exhaust clamp, a small exhaust clamp, and clamp the hell out of that. Along with a little bit of exhaust sealer, and then that should be good. That should be fine. So we'll see. The problem is if I use that sealant and that whatever it is on it, it's going to be really hard to get this back apart, especially when I put a clamp down on it. So, oh well. It is what it is. I've got to do whatever it is I got to do to get this project finished. And then whenever I do get it finished, I'll make a video of it. And it will probably be on the Dirt Cheap Preps channel, though. So the whole idea is to get that channel up and going. And again, I'm going to try to do my best to get more prepping stuff over there and less, not necessarily less here, but people don't go to news channels to learn prepping stuff. So I'm not dividing it for any reason other than that. I want people to be able to find it, you know? So anyway, like I said earlier, 5 minutes ago, I'm getting the hell out of here. Hope y'all have a good night. We hopefully will see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.